Hare Krishna everyone. Friday is the Saphalaa Ekadashi, the first Ekadashi of this year, 2021. So here is the narration for this Ekadashi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yudhishthir Maharaj said, "O my dear Lord Krishna, what is the name of that Ekadashi that occurs during the dark fortnight of the month of Posh, which is December to January? How is it observed, and which deity is to be worshipped on that sacred day? Please narrate these details to me fully so that I may understand, O Janardhan." The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, then replied, "O best of kings, because you desire to hear, I shall fully describe to you the glories of the Posh Krishna Ekadashi. I do not become as pleased by sacrifice or charity as I do by my devotees' observance of a full fast on Ekadashi. To the best of one's ability, therefore, one should fast on Ekadashi, the day of Lord Hari. O Yudhishthir, I urge you to hear with undivided intelligence the glories of Posh Krishna Ekadashi, which falls on a Dwadashi. As I explained previously, one should not differentiate among the many Ekadashis. O King, to benefit humanity at large, I shall now describe to you the process of observing Posh Krishna Ekadashi. Posh Krishna Ekadashi is also known as Saphalaa Ekadashi. On this sacred day, one should worship Lord Narayan, for he is its ruling deity. One should do so by following the previously described method of fasting. Just as among snakes, Sheshanag is the best, and among birds, Garud is the best. Among sacrifices, the Ashwamedha Yagna is the best. Among rivers, Mother Ganges is the best. Among gods, Lord Vishnu is best. And among two-legged beings, the Brahmins are the best. So among all fasting days, Ekadashi is by far the best. O foremost of kings who took your birth in the Bharat dynasty, whoever strictly observes Ekadashi becomes very dear to me and indeed worshipable by me in every way. Now please listen as I describe the process for observing the Saphalaa Ekadashi. On Saphalaa Ekadashi, my devotee should worship me by offering me fresh fruits according to time, place, and circumstance, and by meditating on me as the all-auspicious Supreme Personality of Godhead. He should offer me jambira fruit, pomegranate, betel nuts and leaves, coconut, guava, varieties of nuts, cloves, mangoes, and different kinds of aromatic spices. He should also offer me incense and bright ghee lamps, for such an offering of lamps on Saphalaa Ekadashi is specially glorious. The devotee should try to stay awake the Ekadashi night. Now please hear with undivided attention as I tell you how much merit one gets if he fasts and remain awake throughout the entire night, singing and chanting the glories of Narayan. O best of kings, there is no sacrifice or pilgrimage that yields merit that is equal to or better than the merit one gains by fasting on this Saphalaa Ekadashi. Such fasting, particularly if one can remain awake and alert the entire night long, bestows the same merit upon the faithful devotee as the performance of austerity for 5,000 earthly years. O Lion among kings, please hear for me the glorious history that made this divine Ekadashi famous. Once there was a city named Champavati, which was ruled by the saintly king Mahishmata. He had 4 sons, the eldest of whom, Lumpak, always engaged in all manner of very sinful activities, illicit sexual encounters with the wives of others, gambling, and continual association with known prostitutes. His evil deeds gradually reduced the wealth of his father, King Mahishmata. Lumpak also became very critical of the numerous devas, the empowered universal attendants of the lords, as well as toward the Brahmins, and every day he would go out of his way to blaspheme the Vaishnavas. At last, King Mahishmata, seeing the unrepentant, brazen, fallen condition of his son, exiled him to the forest. Out of fear of the king, even compassionate relatives didn't come to Lumpak's defense. So angry was the king toward his son, and so sinful was Lumpaka. Bewildered, Lumpaka thought to himself, my father has sent. He schemed sinfully and thought, I shall sneak back to the city under cover of darkness and plunder its wealth. During the day I shall stay in the forest, and as night returns, so shall I to the city. So thinking, the sinful Lumpaka entered the darkness of the forest. He killed many animals by day, and by night he stole all manner of valuable items from the city. The city-dwelling folk apprehended him several times, but out of fear of the king, they left him alone. They thought to themselves that it must have been the accumulated sins of Lumpaka's previous births that had forced him to act in such a way that he lost his royal facilities and became to act so sinfully like a common selfish thief. Though a meat eater, Lumpaka would also eat fruits every day. He resided under an old banyan tree that, unknown to him, happened to be very dear to Lord Vasudeva. Indeed, many worshipped as the demigod, representative departmental head of all the trees in the forest. In due course of time, while Lumpaka was doing so many sinful and condemnable activities, the Saphalaa Ekadashi arrived. On the eve of the Ekadashi, that is the Dashami, Lumpaka had to pass the entire night without sleep because of severe cold that he felt due to his scanty bedclothes, that is the bedding. The cold not only robbed him of all peace but almost of his very life. By the time the sun rose, near dead, his teeth chattering and near comatose. In fact, all that Ekadashi morning he remained in that stupor and could not awaken out of his near comatose condition. When midday of the Saphalaa Ekadashi arrived, the sinful Lumpaka finally came to and managed to rise up from his place under that banyan tree, but with every step he took, he stumbled and fell to the ground. Like a lame man, he walked slowly and hesitantly, suffering greatly from hunger and thirst in the midst of the jungle. So weak was Lumpaka that he couldn't even concentrate to nor muster strength to go and kill even a single animal that whole day. Instead, he was reduced to collecting whatever fruits had fallen to the ground of their own accord. By the time he returned to his banyan tree home, the sun had set. Placing the fruits on the ground next to him on the base of the sacred banyan tree, Lumpaka began to cry out, "Oh, woe is me! What should I do? Dear father, what is to become of me? O Sri Hari, please be merciful to me and accept these fruits as an offering." Again he was forced to lie awake the whole night without sleep, but in the meantime the all-merciful Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Madhusudan, had become pleased with Lumpaka's humble offering of forest fruits, and he accepted them. Lumpaka had unwillingly observed a full Ekadashi fast, and by the merit he reaped on that day, he regained his kingdom with no further obstacles. Listen, O Yudhishthir, to what happened to the son of King Mahishmata when but a fragment of the merit sprouted up within his heart as the sun beautifully rose in the sky on the day following Ekadashi. A handsome horse approached Lumpaka as if seeking him out and stood next to him. At the same time, a voice suddenly boomed out from the clear blue sky saying, "Oh, this horse is for you, Lumpaka. Mount it and ride swiftly out of the forest to greet your family. O son of King Mahishmata, by the mercy of the Supreme Lord Vasudeva and strength of the merit you acquired by observing Saphalaa Ekadashi, your kingdom will be returned to you without any further hindrances. Such is the benefit you have gained by fasting on this most auspicious of days. Go now to your father and enjoy your rightful place in the dynasty." Upon hearing these celestial words resounding from above, Lumpaka mounted the horse and rode back to the city of Champavati. By the merit he had accrued by fasting on Saphalaa Ekadashi, he had become a handsome prince once more and was able to absorb his mind in the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari. In other words, he had become my pure devotee. Lumpaka offered his father King Mahishmata his humble obeisances and once more accepted his princely responsibilities. Seeing his son so decorated with Vaishnav ornaments and tilak, Urdhva Pundra, the King Mahishmata gave him the kingdom and Lumpaka ruled unopposed for many days, many years. Whenever the Ekadashi came, he worshipped the Supreme Lord Narayan with great devotion, and by the mercy of Sri Krishna he obtained a beautiful wife and a fine son. In old age, Lumpaka handed his kingdom over to his son, just as his own father, King Mahishmata, had handed it over to him. Lumpaka then went to the forest to dedicate his concentrate attention to gratefully serve the Supreme Lord with controlled mind and senses. Purified of all material desires, he left his old material body and returned back to home, back to Godhead, attaining a place near the lotus feet of his worshipful Lord Sri Krishna. O Yudhishthir, one who approaches me as Lumpaka did will become completely free of lamentation and anxiety. Indeed, anyone who properly observes this glorious Saphalaa Ekadashi, even unknowingly like Lumpaka, will become famous in this world. He will become perfectly liberated at death and return to the spiritual abode of Vaikuntha. Of this there is no doubt. Moreover, one who simply hears the glories of Saphalaa Ekadashi obtains the same merit derived by one who performs the Rajasuya Yagna, and at the very least he goes to the heaven in his next birth. So where is the loss? Thus ends the narration of the glories of Pausha Krishna Ekadashi or Saphalaa Ekadashi from Bhavishya Uttar Puran. I think I made a mistake in the beginning by saying that the Ekadashi is on Friday. Ekadashi is on Saturday, and this Saphalaa Ekadashi is falling on Saturday this year. So please, if you are going to observe the Ekadashi, a very happy Ekadashi to you. Ekadashi is Lord Hari himself. Lord Hari lives in Ekadashi. So thank you for listening and joining. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.